Hey everybody, I know that I made a crypto video just about 2 weeks ago, and I don't want this to become a crypto channel. However, there was some news about Bitcoin that broke earlier this week that I felt like I had to cover on the channel. In fact, I wanted to make this video earlier in the week, but I decided to wait until the weekend to see how this plays out a little bit more. If you follow Bitcoin at all, you know that it had a rough start to the week. On top of falling over the last few weeks, this week Bitcoin fell under $32,000 after a long time. And this is after being at its all-time high of about 62,000 just about 6 weeks ago. So what happened and what happens next? This is exactly what we'll explore in today's video. So, welcome to the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me in today's video, and let's dive in. On May 8, 2021, a company called Colonial Pipeline announced that it had to shut down its operations due to a ransomware attack. This is a company that operates an oil pipeline that brings refined oil and gas from Texas to eastern states. In fact, approximately 45% of all the fuel that's supplied to eastern states comes from this pipeline. Soon after this news broke, panic started setting in among people, and soon we were seeing pictures like these. And there were even reports of some gas stations running out of gas completely. People got scared that pretty soon there would not be any more gas for them to buy. So they actually started going out there and hoarding gas in jerry cans, in totes, and even in plastic bags. In fact, some analysts think that there might not have been a shortage, but all these people hoarding gas and buying so much extra gas ended up causing the shortage in the first place. This actually reminds me of the toilet paper shortage back in 2020. Guys, before we continue with this video, I want to take a second to ask you to please smash that like button and that subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. This helps me out a lot and keeps me motivated to keep making these videos. That being said, let's get back to today's video. Over the next few days after the Colonial Pipeline shut down, President Biden got involved as this came to be known as a national security issue. A lot more fuel trucks were pressed into service to bring much needed fuel from Texas and other areas of the country over to the East Coast. About 2 weeks after the shutdown first happened, Colonial Pipeline was able to return to normal operations, and there was plenty of gas available again all over the East Coast. Now, if you're thinking, Prashant, what does this have to do with Bitcoin? Was this video clickbait? Well, I'm getting to it. You see, earlier this week, news broke out that the CEO of Colonial Pipeline actually approved personally a ransom payment to the hackers. Tim Feld, the CEO of Colonial Pipeline, says he thinks that this was the correct decision to make to restore services quickly because he thinks that his services are essential to the country as a whole. Overall, Colonial paid a ransom of 75 bitcoins, approximately worth $4.3 million at the time, to the hackers. Earlier this week, the DOJ, or Department of Justice, announced that the FBI was able to recover 63.7 of those bitcoins. This news absolutely blew my mind. In fact, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a story from me about this. To me, it was absolutely incredible that the FBI was able to do this. And I'm going to tell you why right now. Like I said before, I wanted to see how this story plays out. So in the meantime, I did some digging. I was actually able to find a request for a warrant from the FBI agent on this case and a seizure warrant from a judge based in San Francisco. I actually went ahead and read these documents so that you don't have to. So, what was the basis of the investigation that the FBI performed? Simple, they followed the money. You see, since Bitcoin is built on a blockchain, there is actually a public ledger, which is a record of each and every transaction that happens on the Bitcoin network, out there for anybody to see. So the FBI agent laid out in their affidavit that they followed the Bitcoins that were paid as ransom from one Bitcoin wallet to the next, to the next, to the next. Once they had determined which Bitcoin wallet the money was residing in, it was just a matter of seizing the money. They then requested for a warrant from a judge, which was then granted to them. The affidavit also says that the FBI was in possession of the private key, which is like a password to that final Bitcoin wallet. How they came in possession of that key was not written in the affidavit. Did they physically come in possession of a hard drive which maybe had that private key? Were they able to hack into a network and then get a private key from that perspective? Were they able to infiltrate some group using a spy? We just don't know, and I have a sneaky suspicion that the FBI is not telling anybody. So once they got the seizure warrant from the judge in California, the FBI went ahead and seized 63.7 of those Bitcoins. This goes to show that the FBI, and really anybody with the will and resources to do so, can simply follow the money on the Bitcoin ledger since it's all publicly available to see anyway. It also shows that the FBI may be willing and capable, at least sometimes, to be able to obtain private keys to certain Bitcoin wallets when it wants to do so. What this all ultimately means is that the US government is capable of tracking and perhaps even influencing what happens on the blockchain, at least at certain times. The best feature of the blockchain, this transparency in all transactions, became the very reason that the US government was able to track and seize these Bitcoins back. While this is fantastic news for the FBI, the DOJ, and the US government as a whole, and also Colonial Pipeline, it is terrible news for believers in Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong, I think these ransom attacks are terrible, and everything that law enforcement agencies can do to reduce these is great. However, from the perspective of Bitcoin believers and holders, this is pretty alarming news. Here's why. You see, when Bitcoin was founded in 2009, its founder Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a technical paper about it. And in that they said that there was a need for a decentralized currency that was independent from influence from any institution such as a bank or even a government. And since then, this has been a cornerstone of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Because of how the blockchain is set up, it is supposed to be completely impossible for anybody to know who the owner of any particular wallet is, which is to say that it is supposed to be completely anonymous. On top of this, it is supposed to be impossible for any one individual or group to manipulate what happens on the blockchain. So when the FBI seized the ransom, it definitely raised some doubts, at least in my mind, as to how independent of outside influence Bitcoin really is. Is it just that when the government really wants to intervene, they can? Or was it simply that the FBI got lucky in this case and was able to seize that ransom? This is exactly the reason why the price of Bitcoin fell to under $32,000 soon after this news broke. Holders and investors of Bitcoin started worrying if Bitcoin was truly as independent as it has been made out to be. Okay, so now that we've discussed what caused the price of Bitcoin to fall earlier in the week, this video would be incomplete if I did not talk about the other big news that happened with Bitcoin. There's always something going on with Bitcoin. On June 9th, the president of El Salvador announced that they will start accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. Currently, they use the US dollar as their only currency. And now, within the next 90 days, they intend to start accepting Bitcoin as another currency. You see, a large part of the GDP of El Salvador is comprised of remittances, which is to say that El Salvadorians living in other countries send a bunch of money back home, which accounts for about 20% of their entire GDP. If you've ever sent money internationally, you know exactly how expensive this can be because of wire transfer fees, currency exchange fees, currency fluctuations, and any other fees. The thought is that using Bitcoin for these remittances will make things easier, cheaper, and faster for people. Since this news broke, the price of Bitcoin has been climbing steadily, and it is currently trading around $37,000 on Friday evening when I'm recording this video, which is about where it was trading at the start of the week. This rise in price makes sense because this country adopting Bitcoin as legal tender is a good example of a use case for Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was originally created, it was intended to be used as a common everyday currency for common everyday transactions. Of course, people don't actually use it this way. People use it as an investment or as a store of value, even calling it digital gold. This is a classic case of Bitcoin having value because its holders believe that they'll be able to sell this Bitcoin to somebody else at a higher rate sometime in the future. In my mind, Bitcoin has completely failed its original purpose of becoming a common everyday currency, at least so far. I don't think this is a bad thing necessarily, that it's being used as a store of value rather than as an everyday currency. I'm just pointing it out. In fact, back in April, I had a huge case of FOMO and I ended up buying my first $100 worth of Bitcoin. As of today, that's worth about $56. Goes to show you that Bitcoin is a super volatile asset and you're just as likely to make money as you are to lose money. So what happens next? Is Bitcoin going to go higher or lower from here? Is this just a temporary dip that we can safely put behind us? Or is this an early start to the crypto winter that Bitcoin holders and believers are expecting later this year into early next year? whatever it might be, you can bet that I will be covering it on this channel. So that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Thank you so much for joining me today and watching this video. I hope you found this video informational and entertaining. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button and that subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. If you did not like this video and you've lasted so far, I will also ask you to please smash that like button and that subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. And also go ahead and click the bell icon to be notified instantly when I post a new video. I post at least one new video every week with great new financial content. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, where I post weekly. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.